Welcome to Prunership Diaries. Today we have with us Beatrice Boots, all the way from Australia. She helps soul driven entrepreneurs create and grow their business by using a combination of highly effective spiritual and practical tools. She guides one to walk their unique path, to listen to their inner voice, and to work and live from the heart. She believes that it is when you come into alignment with who you truly are, work work from your core strengths and speak your truth that you will thrive instead of survive. Attract your ideal client, earn your true worth, and make this world a better place. So, welcome to my show, Beatrice. I'm so glad and honored to have you here today. And I'm so excited to know how tapping into one's intuition can be beneficial for anyone's life and, of course, business. So, welcome again, Beatrice.
Thank you so much, Sweeta, for having me.
Lovely. I can't wait to get started. So, without further ado, here's what I want to ask, Beatrice. Could you tell us about intuition and why is it so important in anyone's life?
Okay, intuition has been a long passion of mine throughout my life,
Mhm.
and through trial and error, I have discovered that intuition is a key role for living a happy and successful life, in my opinion. So I feel that intuition in a lot of societies, specific in the West,
Mm,
the Western societies, has been extremely repressed,
right.
and we have heard over and over again that we have to use our head and ignore our heart. And I feel that that's a shame. So I have actually looked a lot into Eastern, culture and religion to find more, um, to really understand what intuition is about. But most of all, I've just experienced and experimented with it myself.
Yes.
And when I discovered in business that it was essential, and in business it's so repressed because it's all about numbers, it's all about goals. And I feel that when you bring in more of your own intuition in business, you're going to be, as you explain, so much more aligned with who you truly are, and then you can allow into your life what is basically already there as a support,
Right.
but it's just going to come into your life more and more when you tap into your intuition.
Lovely. I mean, thank you so much for that, Beatrice. And I totally resonate with you. There is a shift, not just with respect to businesses, but across the world. I think there's a shift from the way we perceive things because it was always about, okay, you need to think, whatever you want to be, you need to think. Well, that's of course there. But then when you tap into your intuition, as you rightly said, you can be so much more because once you get to know about your inner self, I think you can readily put out things which the world needs. And I'm so glad, Beatrice, that you have tapped into this journey and you're helping people, the other entrepreneurs, to tap into themselves and making their lives better and businesses better.
Thank you. Yes, I totally couldn't agree with you more. And it's just become my life purpose and passion to help other entrepreneurs. They're often creative, because creatives, they work very much from the right brain. And, it's the creatives that are actually having a lot of intuition in them, but because they've been told that they have to use their left brain so much, they're starting to doubt themselves, and they think maybe they're a bit mad, or they're a bit crazy, being different,
Right.
but actually they have goals. They have more intuition than people that are naturally functioning from the left brain. And once they dare to trust that intuition and dare to listen to their inner voices, they can actually become the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes, I know. That's lovely. And we will talk more about this in a while. But before we get on to that, I want to ask you I'm actually curious to know about your first venture. I know it's something related to travel. But my question here is so when you started the first venture, I want to know what it was all about. And were you intuitive? I mean, were you listening to your intuition at that point in time? And also with respect to the learnings, I mean, considering it was your first venture, so I would want to know what the learnings were.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting question. And the answer is a bit mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, I use my intuition in the way that I always embraced my creativity. So, I have a background in photography and in writing.
Wow.
And I actually, I did travel writing. I took pictures, specifically when I moved from the Netherlands, where I'm originally from, to
Right.
Ireland.
Wow.
And there I basically really followed my heart and used my intuition in embracing that and made documentaries. I just love storytelling.
Yes.
And it was in a moment that I decided to start a business because writing is not something that you can really earn very good money with.
Right.
I needed to figure out something that I earn money with so that I was also able to support myself. And when I made that step, that's where I basically ignored my intuition. I started to listen to a lot of other people. So when I started my travel business in the first instance, my travel business was Paris based.
Wow.
So I brought my heart energy into that because Paris is the city that I love a lot, and I lived there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically went for a business model that didn't work
Ah.
because I chose a business model that was based on something that I listened to other people and what their advice was. And I decided to write about hotels and to give people insights about
Right.
hotels and how they could pick the best hotel and more in a luxurious way, not so much the booking.com kind of way,
Right.
but a more exclusive way. And I worked in this business for good few years to try to make it happen, but it never really got off the ground.
Mm.
And once I started to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing something that is not really aligned with who I truly am. I have to figure out something that is much more in alignment with myself.
Mm.
I changed my direction within that business and decided to lead, to guide women on a journey to Paris to fall back in love with themselves and to discover their talents, and use this travel experience through the sensory experiences,
Wow.
and show women hidden treasures in Paris that I knew about.
Mm.
So once I made that change, that's when my business started to pick up because I
Wow.
dared to embrace that side of myself that was leading me there.
It's so lovely that you got to embrace that side, and of course brought out the best from what you wanted to give. And it turned out, of course, successful on both the fronts. Like the travelers got what they wanted, and you also got what they wanted. So it's really beautiful, I think, when we get to embrace that inner self of ours and go forward.
Absolutely. And it's just so empowering to, it's empowering and so much more joyful when you
Yes.
eventually make that, yeah, make that choice. And as you know, in business, You learn most from your mistakes. So to decide I never something again that is not aligned with me, that is my compass now. Just have to keep checking, is this aligned with me, yes or no? And if it's not, it's better to let it go. But it's sometimes really
Yes.
difficult to let things go that you have put a lot of effort and work into. And it's you have to be brave to do that. And
Yes.
that's why I love helping others now to be brave enough to listen to their intuition.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's lovely as well. So I mean, I think the listeners would also be curious to know. So, how can anyone, tap into their intuition? If you could let us know some few things or a few steps that, at least for a start, what could we do? That'll be great.
Okay, that's a great question. I think that's one of the best things to do when you start listening to your intuition. They are actually really simple things.
Mhm.
So they are go out in nature and connect with nature, because nature has all the answers, and in nature everything is connected with each other. Within the system, nature's system, everything is connected with each other. So once we are in nature, we also feel connected to nature, and we feel connected to ourselves. So we kind of reclaim that connection with ourselves by being in nature, and to also taking the time out to listen to the trees, and listen to the wind, and look at the ripples on the water,
Yes.
and listen to the birds, and just sense. And when you do that, you enhance your intuition naturally. So that's one of my biggest and most important tips
Right.
to do.
Oh wow. Wow. Amazing. I cannot agree more with you. I think I would just like to share this. My first travel which brought out a feeling which I hadn't felt before. This was on my first trek to the Himalayas. And it was so phenomenal that it just humbled me. And whatever I thought I was, and whatever I thought my problems were, I think it just fell flat. And I was just blown over. So I totally resonate with you when you say that nature is, of course, the best way. I think for a start, yes.
Absolutely. And that's such a lovely story, because I think that indeed nature humbles us, and nature puts things in perspective, and shows us that we're not that important, as sometimes we think we are. And it brings it puts our personality, as I prefer calling it, to ego, our
Yes.
personality in place. And it gives this space to the soul to really um, get this space to speak,
Yeah.
and to say something to you that you otherwise wouldn't wouldn't hear. And also, when you're constantly busy in your business, this is something that we all do. You're being busy in your business, with the doing,
Right.
then we forget to be. And
Yeah.
it's when you are in the being, when you're out walking on a walk, that's when you get the inspiration for important things, because it's the soul whispering, or it's messages from somewhere. I don't know where they come from,
Right.
but they are messages, and often they come from the soul, I think, that give you ideas, and those are often good ideas.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. I'm 100% with you. Lovely. So Beatrice, how can one use intuition in business effectively? Because I mean, in business, there are a lot of stakeholders involved, and it's not just the business owner. So, when we do tap into our intuition, but then how does how do we put it across in our business as well, because there's a lot many stakeholders. It could be the team that we work with, and of course it's the client or the customer that we have to cater to. So how do we bring intuition into our business? as a whole?
Okay. So I believe that when you are doing what you love,
Hmm.
that there's always going to be people out there
Yes.
that also love what you're doing.
Mm.
So, and it's basically making this connection with people.
Right.
So, by being at home with yourself and listening to yourself,
Mm.
and from that place of the heart, connecting with others, you
Yes.
are connecting. And through connection, you can do business because, and I know there's a lot of old fashioned ways, I would call them old fashioned ways of doing
Mm.
marketing, but
Right.
they're not as effective anymore because we are more important, more people are aware nowadays that we are played around with a bit. We're
Right.
played with by marketing to trigger us into buying something.
Yes.
And people buy from people, and people want more and more the real thing. They want to buy from somebody that is authentic
Correct.
and that is really true about what they, this selling doesn't become as much selling anymore. It's more like you want to help somebody, and by
Yes.
helping somebody there is an energy exchange and there is a money exchange, and that is the new form of business, in my opinion, and the business for the future.
When they come, of course, the money will also follow.
The money follows, exactly, and
Yes.
it's that trusting in that is going to happen. It's difficult because the personality says and talks you out of it,
Yes.
but and also old fashioned ways of thinking talk you out of that. But
Right.
actually it does work that way, and sometimes it takes time, of course,
Mm.
before the money flows back. And that's why it's difficult, it's tricky. And what I want to give to your listeners is that when you have had one client that loved what you're doing,
Yes.
there is more clients that love that you're doing. There's always more out there. And the more you connect from the heart with your potential customer, they will feel that energy because everything is energy. So once you
Right.
connect from the heart with your potential customers, and they will find you energetically.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. I mean, so brilliantly put out. Thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
and yeah, so without further ado, I want to ask about your program, which is called as Clear Mind and Happy Heart. As you know, it's the program where you help out other entrepreneurs to tap into their intuition and give it their all, to their customers and to their business. So if you could tell the listeners about what it is all about, that'll be great.
Okay, thank you. So basically, the Clear Mind, Happy Heart is my step in program.
Hmm.
It's the program where we use a very unorthodox way of tapping into your intuition. I love using tarot cards. So I use tarot cards in the group coaching in the program, which is 12 weeks.
Hmm.
And what we do is we basically read cards, and not so much, it's not clairvoyance or anything, it's more tapping into your subconscious mind,
Right.
because we are 95% of our, yeah, of everything is hidden. We're not aware of what's happening.
Right.
So by using tarot cards, it brings magically in with synchronicity the messages to the surface that we need to see and hear. And that's how we kind of enhance our intuition in a fabulous way. So that's what we do. And then also what we do in the Clear Mind Happy Heart. So basically the clear mind is that you stop the clutter in your head, the talking, all the
Yes.
inner voices that are telling you that you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. So it
Right.
also helps you to get rid of yeah, limiting beliefs basically.
Right.
And that creates a happier heart because you have less negative self-talk. So once you clear your mind, get rid of this negative self-talk, then your heart becomes a happier place. And then
Wow.
from that happier heart, you can connect with anything you like to allow into your life. So that's one aspect of what we do
Wow.
during the program.
Hmm.
And then another aspect of this program is we work through with the chakra
Hmm.
system.
Right.
So it's based on the seven, on the Indian chakra system,
Right.
where we have the seven chakras, and the I work with the journey of manifestation, um, allowing us to tap into source and into your inner self, your higher self, and
Hmm.
allowing the manifestation to come through the body, because we're here on earth for a
Yeah.
reason. We have a body, and
Yes.
manifestation happens through the body, and all the chakras have a different function in the
Mm.
path of manifestation. So I include that also in that program to
Wow.
clear your chakras energy um, points
Yes.
so that you can allow into your life what you really deeply desire.
Mm. Amazing. That sounds very interesting. And I mean, of course, I mean, it's just about, tapping your intuition, of course, getting to know your inner self, the energies within you, and how you can tap and, of course, manifest things out for you. I mean, that's so lovely and beautiful.
Maybe I add to that
Yes,
that
please.
all of that leads to more living your life purpose, more living the life you were born to live. I
Right.
believe we all came into the world with amazing talents. We all
Yes.
have amazing talents. And when we combine those amazing talents and find out what those amazing talents are, and also use your core strength and do what you love doing, uh, that your life can transform and your business can transform. So that's basically for later, but first we need to clear the clutter. I started to talk in Dutch for a second. First we have to clear the clutter of your mind,
Right.
and then we can go to that phase of finding your life purpose more. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I must, say that I'm really inspired because, uh, you actually, I mean, got this thought and you worked it on for yourself first. And you see how that, it with your travel venture, it worked out for you. And it's so amazing and commendable that, you're putting it out for others to tap into this amazing inner journey that one can go through and, bring their best versions of themselves so that, they can give best things to the world. So
That's right. That's
amazing.
what it is all about. Yeah, to see people transform and
Yes.
live their best lives and give their gifts to the world.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Beautiful. And I'm also excited to ask you about your recent bestseller book. So, could you tell us more about it and what it is all about?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're asking me now because the story in the co-authored book that I wrote, and
Mhm.
indeed it became number one international bestseller
Wow.
recently. Thank
Kudos
you.
to you and all the other
Thank you
authors.
very much. Yes, exactly. We were 20 authors in total, and together we wrote this book. And my story in the book is called The Gift. And
Nice.
it's the gift in it has different layers, the title of the book.
Mhm.
Um, my story is about a very traumatic event in Paris that happened on one of my tours.
Mhm.
And I lost a very good friend and colleague through suicide. The
Wow.
story is about that, and how from that difficult part of my life, different phase of my life, I came out stronger the other end, and
Mm.
started to live my purpose more fully. So I basically went from having my travel business to also coaching and doing the intuitive life coaching that or business coaching, sorry, that I'm doing today.
Right.
um, so it's basically thanks to that event, strangely enough, that I
Mm.
embraced my gifts, that I embraced my sensitivity, because I'm very highly sensitive, and I embraced that side of myself. Whereas before I was always pushing it to the side because I thought, oh, people think that I'm oversensitive, people think that I'm this and that and the other. I was always thinking about what other people thought, and I think this is so valid for most of us.
Right.
And it was after this difficult phase in my life that I started to really become myself and
Mm.
give my gifts to the world. So this is what the story is about. I won't go into the details because I think it's nice to read the story. And the book is called The Phoenix,
Right.
Powerful Women Who Rose from the Ashes to Claim Their Place.
Wow.
So it's 20 women that all went through difficult situations in their life and came out stronger on the other end. And I think we 20 women represent most people in the most people in the world went through
Yes.
difficult phases in their life. And
Yes.
a lot of the time when we meet people, we don't know what's behind the person, and we don't know what they went through, and we only maybe see the success, or we only see something else, and we don't know the full story. And I think people can relate to yeah can relate to the stories in the book because they've gone
Yes.
through something themselves, and it might help them to to progress in life in a different way. And in the book there's also 20 really beautiful freebies. So every author, so I have my freebie is my heart activation meditation. So
Right.
once you buy the book, you can also access that.
Right.
But you're also welcome to download that, of course, when you hear this through your channel.
Wow.
So because I'm very honored to be here
Oh,
on your
that's so
show,
sweet.
of course.
Lovely. I mean, thank you, Beatrice. I mean, it's so commendable that, with respect to the book, 20 authors, 20 women are talking about their life story and where they have, come up from the ash as a phoenix and, representing the strength and come out so beautifully like the phoenix. So kudos to all of you. And
That's
of
right.
course, I guess the book is available on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can buy it on Amazon, and you can then read it on Kindle.
Hmm.
And the paperback is coming out very soon as well.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's lovely. And of course, thank you for, isn't it? The
Yes, the
the
heart
link,
heart activation meditation. I will
right.
give you the link so that your
Perfect.
listeners can download this meditation and experience more joy and release also heavier feelings in the heart
Yes.
to access to enhance their intuition.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And
You're welcome.
and Beatrice, I mean, of course, you are doing a lot to other entrepreneurs out there, but I want to know, and I'm curious to know, so what do you indulge in as a part of your well-being routine? So what is that you do for yourself?
Okay, so for myself, I love walking.
Ah,
Walking is, I walk every day,
right.
and I am blessed to live in a neighborhood, a beautiful neighborhood with a lot of birds, a lot of
Wow.
trees. So I don't have to drive anywhere. I step out of my house and I walk. And
Right.
next to that, I love doing yoga.
Mm,
Um, really love yoga. I've been doing that for over 20 years,
wow.
and it's a very important part of my practice.
Hmm.
And yeah, I love meeting up as well, of course, with people and sharing food. Big I'm a big fan of cooking and
Wow.
cooking all sorts of different um, cuisines. And when I cook, like with writing and cooking are the two things for me that I get into flow. I get into this state of flow. I don't think anymore. I'm just creative, and
Right.
it's just lovely to indulge in both
Amazing.
the cooking and the eating.
Of course. Absolutely. And I'm so amazed that, you are doing a whole lot of things, with respect to your well-being and, going with the flow. So that's amazing. Right. So I have a very small section which I call as the pruner spotlight section. So I'm just going to run you through three questions. It could be on the personal or the professional front. So you could answer to me in a word or two or a couple of sentences. I totally leave that up to you. All right?
Okay.
Do we start?
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Perfect. All right. So the first question is, what is your ikigai? So ikigai is nothing but the reason for your being. So what is that one thing that you would do on any given day, no matter what is happening around the world?
Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. That
Oh,
is
wow.
coaching. It's come so natural to me. I just can't help myself. In fact, I was coaching a long time friends and family members before I became a coach because it's just something I naturally do.
Lovely.
So that's definitely my ikigai.
Yes, absolutely. You found it.
I did.
Lovely.
And I love helping others finding their ikigai, by the way.
Oh,
I love
yes.
the term ikigai. I love the whole concept around living a healthy life and that your ikigai is part of living a healthy life.
Right.
And yes, it's a beautiful thing. And it's such a pleasure to have found that for yourself, for myself. I'm so much happier since I found it. And it's only a couple of years ago that I did. And it's actually after my traumatic event that I
Mm,
did. Yes. So I
right.
love giving others a shortcut.
Yes.
This was not one word, there was a lot of
Oh,
words.
yes. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Right. My second question is, what is your definition of success?
Okay. My definition of success is to have abundance on all levels. So
Hmm.
have an abundance of joy
Right.
to start with, having an abundance of support, the right people in your team that
Hmm.
work with you and that you work with,
Yes.
and also, um, of course, earning an income that gives you freedom, because freedom for me is it's my biggest value. I
Right.
love my freedom. I love my freedom of time. I love my freedom of location.
Yes.
In fact, we plan to go back to the Netherlands to live there again in the future.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's probably what my kind of definition of success is.
Lovely. Beautifully said. All right.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, what is one key takeaway that you want to give the audience? The audience could be those who are starting on an entrepreneurial journey or who are on the entrepreneurial journey but who want to take their business to the next level. So, if you could share with them any insights or tips or any few words or lessons from your end, that'd be great.
I would want to give them to really start believing in yourself
Yes.
and don't compare yourself with others. Everybody does things differently.
Right.
So, by comparing yourself, you basically don't believe enough in yourself. And it's not an easy thing to do. And sometimes I fall back into the trap too. But I
Right.
really want to encourage everybody that hears this to love themselves and accept themselves as they are, because we are all one note in a beautiful orchestra and we're not here for nothing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh my God. That's lovely and brilliantly put together. So, thank you for that. Uh, and Beatrice, how can anyone reach out to you?
Okay, people can reach out to me by finding me on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
My profile is Beatrice Boots. There is two Beatrices Bootses, but I think you will quickly see it because I live in Perth.
Right.
And of course, you can send me an email, beatrice at beatriceboots.com, or you can find me on Instagram as well under Beatrice Boots and send me a message.
All right. I'll be sure to leave these links in the episode description. So, Beatrice, thank you so much. I mean, I had an amazing conversation with you, and it was really amazing to hear from an entrepreneur who has tapped into her intuition and who is ready to give it out to the world. And I'm so amazed by your journey. And thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful, yeah, chance to connect and talk, and yeah, lots of love for everybody.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. That's really lovely. Thank you again.